Well, the shocking betrayal of our ally Israel by President Biden in announcing that the U.S. would not deliver already agreed upon weapons to Israel in their fight for survival has caused even some responsible Democrats to finally break with Biden and his disastrous and double-dealing policies. Just one day after Biden spoke at a Holocaust remembrance event at the Holocaust Museum, in which he pretended to be Israel's best friend, he then turned the next day into Jihad Joe, the president who, for a few Muslim votes in Michigan and Minnesota, declared that because he didn't approve of Israel going into Rafah, he was going to withhold arms sales to Israel. Now, keep in mind that Congress has already approved those sales, and the Democrats in Congress, remember, they impeached Donald Trump because they said he threatened to withhold aid to Ukraine, which he didn't even do. While Jihad Joe has been photographed shaking the hand of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, he was using his other hand to take a knife and stab the Israeli Prime Minister and the Israeli people straight in the back. How on earth does Joe Biden feel emboldened to tell Israel how to fight its war for survival against the murderous barbarians of Hamas? Let's remember Biden's brilliant military strategy proved to be an utter disaster in the pullout of Afghanistan, resulting in the deaths of 13 Americans and leaving stranded hundreds of other Americans left to fend for themselves after the Biden administration broke all of its promises to leave no one behind. And many people forget that when President Obama approved the Navy SEAL operation to kill Osama bin Laden, the only, and I mean the only person in the Situation Room that did not vote to carry out that mission was Joe Biden. His batting average on foreign policy decisions wouldn't qualify him for Little League, much less the majors. But what happened in the minds of our other allies, like Taiwan, Japan, Great Britain, when they saw that with Joe Biden as head of our nation, our word is dirt? That revelation was also going to reverberate with our adversaries. Now they're going to see us as weak and unwilling to keep our simple promises. Israel has never asked us to fight for them or even with them. Not ever. Americans have never put boots on the ground in Israel to fight. We've sold them arms so they can defend themselves against enemies like Hamas. I never thought, however, we'd have a president who would sell our honor and renege on what Biden and his team kept calling our ironclad commitment to Israel. But here's the trouble. By giving in to the demands of the terrorist, we just invite more outrageous assaults staged against Jews and, frankly, for that matter, against Americans. America used to never negotiate with terrorists. Now Joe Biden isn't merely negotiating with them, he's surrendering to them. And he has failed to demand that Hamas release the 5 American citizens who are hostages and who have been hostages since October the 7th. While tragic that any civilians have died in Gaza as Israel has sought out these Hamas terrorists, those deaths, those civilian deaths in Gaza, are the direct result of Hamas forcing civilians, including children, to act as human shields around their military structure and around their hidey holes because the Hamas fighters are too cowardly to fight without hiding behind women and children. And despite extraordinary efforts by the Israelis to avoid the deaths of civilians, Hamas has made that impossible. Never forget, Israel is not in a fight to take over land or the assets of Gaza. They don't want them. Never forget that Hamas has repeatedly stated that it will continue to carry out massacres like that on October the 7th until every Jew is dead and Israel is no more. Israel is being threatened with its very existence. And Prime Minister Netanyahu and the Israeli people have made it clear that with or without the help of the U.S., they will fight, if necessary, with their fingernails to protect their people and their country. And I want you to know I am one American who prays our country will be led by those who want to stand with Israel, not those who want to stand with the butchers who make up the terrorist group Hamas. Not now, not ever. My next guest are genuine heroes as well as survivors of the harrowing events of October the 7th. Dr. Yftach Gepner visited us just 6 months ago after saving his brother's life while their community fought off Hamas on that fateful day of terror in Israel. Today, Dr. Gepner joins us again, this time with his brother Elad, to share their journey of personal healing and the fight to rebuild their community of Ein Hasiber amid the ongoing war against Israel in Gaza. Would you please welcome brothers Dr. Yftach Gepner and Elad Gepner. Dr. Gepner, it's great having you back. When we were here before with your daughters, it was one of the most, I think, impactful segments that I've ever been a part of on this show, to talk about that day, October the 7th. We all marveled that you were still here, that your daughters were here after that experience. And we talked about your brother. So Elad, we've talked about you behind your back, and I'm glad you're recovered enough to be able to travel and to be here. I want to start with you this time, and I want to ask you to tell us what happened on the morning of October 7th, the day that all of us will never forget.
Okay, so I am a member of the security squad in the village, and in the early morning, the chief of security called me and called all the squad and asked us to, because he thought it was a mega event, and I was called and placed on the main entrance to the village. And after a few moments, when I was there alone, I picked up with something like 10 or 20 Hamas terrorists came and started shooting at me.
They shot at you immediately?
Yeah, immediately. At the first time, I didn't shoot back because you can't understand the situation. But after a few seconds, I will fire back. And after a few minutes, I would shot in the shoulder.
Did you realize that these people had come from Gaza when it first happened, or did you think they were just a small group of terrorists?
We have no idea. I'm 20 years a member of the security squad. Nothing like this happened before.
So you were really not even aware that this was not just a localized attack, but this was all over the southern part of Israel, and a very concentrated and well-coordinated attempt to murder as many Jews as possible.
Absolutely right. We didn't know. We thought it's something very local, and that's why I called my brother and asked him to take me to the hospital.
And when he calls you, I remember when we were talking before, Dr. Gepner, you had to tell your girls, stay in the safe room, don't leave. They ended up being there like 17 hours. You went to find your brother and to take him to the hospital. That must have been the craziest experience of your life. You didn't know how big an assault was going on either, did you?
So that's right. Actually, when the chief officer asked everyone to go to the fence and defend our village, I didn't have any weapon with me. So the only thing I found was a stone. So my brother gave me a call when I was with a stone in my hand, ready to defend our people. I picked him up, and we realized we cannot go from the front gate. So we went from the back gate, from the off-road to the road that go to the hospital. Right before we went to the road, I lay my brother back. And I looked to the left, it was clear, but when we turned right, we saw about 30 Hamas terrorists blocking the road, about 300 feet from us. Started massive shooting on the car. My brother got several bullets, so he got hurt from terrorists in 2 different locations, and he was majorly injured. And in the last second, we managed to escape and went back to the village. We luckily found an ambulance that was there, thanks God, coincidentally, and we managed to take him to the hospital right before he got to his shock.
You know, it's pretty apparent that God was watching after you.
Yeah.
There's no other explanation other than if you have that many terrorists, they've shot you once, then they shoot in the car. They are able to successfully shoot you several more times. So now this trip to the hospital has become more acute than ever. I'm sure you're losing massive amounts of blood at this point. Probably doesn't hurt that your brother's a doctor, but still, there's the fact you've got to get him to surgery. were you ever at a point where you thought, we are never going to get to the hospital? Or did you even have the opportunity to think that far?
You know, there was a second when there started massive shooting. You know, it wasn't just shooting, it was the snipers and RPG land, everything. And on the second they started shooting, I had a thought that we're not gonna make it. The family gonna lose two of us, actually. But we didn't have any other choice.
Yeah.
We did everything we can, and we're still gonna do everything we can to stay strong and stronger than what we was before.
Elad, you were able to survive. The gunshots got to the hospital. How is the recovery going? Give us an update on.
Well, it was a very hard recovery. First of all, I was there a week or so in the hospital, and then one month every day coming back to the hospital to check. Now I'm perfectly fine, thank God.
Thank God indeed. You saw things that day, both of you did, that a lot of Americans who are out there parading on college campuses pretend never really happened. I think your testimony of what you saw is a little more solid than some college kid who's 19 and probably has never wiped his own nose. So I want you to give us some understanding of what did in fact happen that you saw with your own eyes that day, that every American who loves freedom, who loves righteousness, we need to know.
So I will go to the details. So when we went visit 3 days after October 7 near Roz, a kibbutz which is a mile away from our farm town, we saw burned houses. We saw a hate and a smell of a pure hate. And one of the things that amazed me from how human beings behave like that is not only the 3,000 terrorists that crossed the international border to invading Israel, it's the 6,000 civilians that came. And one of the things that they did is people were locked in their safe room in the house. So, and they couldn't break in. So they took the spare tires from the cars and they burned it in front of the doors while they hear kids screaming and dying. Civilians. This is the level of hate of the people we need to declare the threat called Hamas.
And those who think that, well, Hamas can just be toned down a bit, I mean, they've made it their goal to kill every Jew and to destroy Israel. And these people yelling from the river to the sea, they have no idea what river, what sea they're even talking about. What they're really saying is annihilation of the state of Israel. And so, Elad, you know, I know there have got to be some of the Israelis who are disturbed about even going back to their villages because it's marked with so much pain for them, their family members slaughtered in before their eyes. How is that going, the rebuilding, going back into these communities that were hit so hard?
Yeah, I think the real heroes are our community and children that trying to rebuild the village and go back to normal life. It's very hard. Kids were standing in the safe room with knives that they took from the kitchen for hours. My kids also. And this is the main mission now, to rebuild and start living again in the area.
It's really a statement for you to go back to the very places where so much pain happened to say you cannot defeat us.
We are not going anywhere. We're going to stay there forever.
What a wonderful testament of that. And I think we all want to make sure you do. One of the organizations that has been very helpful to you is the organization CityServe. They helped connect us to you so that you could be here with us. What are some of the things they are doing, partnering with American citizens who just want to be helpful?
So CityServe came, they put a boots on the ground less than a month when this war started. And they look in our eyes and they say truly in honesty, we are here with you. We are here to support you. You're not alone in that. And we don't take it as granted. We know, although these people with the purple hair in the campus like yelling from the river to the sea, we know that the majority of the American people are with us.
Yes.
We have a strong support from you guys. And we know that my grandma and grandpa survived the Holocaust and established Israel, the country. And we survived the 73 war and other wars, and we just were stronger and stronger. And that's what happened now, not because of we think so, because of we know so.
Elad, what are some of the ways that those of us here in the States who love Israel, who love the Jewish people, how can we be more helpful? We certainly pray for you. We certainly support you. Specifically, how can we let you and your other Israeli neighbors know that we want to make sure you don't stand alone?
Well, I think we know, first of all, we know that most of the Americans are with us. Only a minor against us. What we can do to help us is to rebuild the area that now is totally broken by building community centers, sports area. What City Serves does now.
Well, I would just want to tell you, I hope that we will be able to amass an extraordinary amount of support to help rebuild those communities. Because it's not just about the physical rebuilding, it's about the spiritual rebuilding and letting you know that what happened to you is horrendous, and we stand with you.
Thank you.
And never will forget
Thank you.
who we're with. Thank you both so much. If you want to read more about how you can help the Ein HaBesor community, go to Huckabee.tv, click on Dr. Gepner's guest page. We will connect you so you'll be able to know exactly how to be more helpful. We're going to continue our discussion on Israel and focus on the college campus protests with our next guest. So, Keith, let the folks maybe know who that's going to be.
Well, it's former Minnesota Congresswoman and current college professor Michele Bachman, and she's up next. Then later tonight, bluegrass band Woodbox Heroes perform on Huckabee.
And welcome back. My next guest is an educator, public servant, and a great friend of Israel, as well as a great friend of mine. I just think the world of her. I want you to welcome Regent University Dean and former Minnesota Congresswoman Michele Bachman. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. Good to see you, Governor. Good to see you.
So you left the lowest place on earth, Congress, and now you're in higher education. What a transition.
What a transition, but I think higher education needs to see some transitions too.
It truly does. And I'm so excited about what you're doing at Regent University because a lot of the kids on college campuses, even Christian college campuses, they're not growing up with this understanding of what Israel is about, why it's important, and especially to those of us who are believers. You've started something at Regent that I'm just thrilled about, and I want you to talk about the Israel Studies program at Regent University, first of its kind.
We did. We started actually about 3.5 years ago because we saw that there was a drop-off in understanding among the Gen Z and among millennials in an appreciation and understanding of Israel. And so we were putting this program together, and we actually rolled the program out during the week of the riots at Columbia University.
What great timing.
So it was great timing.
Great time.
Yeah, we're very excited, but we're actually opening the doors and launching this fall. We're very excited to welcome new students.
You know, most people are not aware that billions, not millions, billions of dollars have been spent by Middle Eastern Muslim countries for Middle East study programs on all of the major university campuses in America, where these college students are indoctrinated to believe in, the Muslim ideals and the Palestinian talk. And so that's where a lot of this has come from. There's never been a balance to that. And we've just assumed, well, people, they love freedom of speech, and so certainly they'll be for Israel, but that's no longer the case. And so I hope this becomes something that other particularly Christian campuses, will start embracing.
Well, and that's what we want to do, not just leave it on Regent, but we want to reach out to other Christian colleges and any college that will take the information, because we want to put a lot of information free online for pastors, for individuals, for Bible study groups, so they can take this material, download it, use it for free. The Christian Broadcasting Network has produced 6 first-class movies on Israel. Does Israel have the right to the land? On the founders of Israel, on the 6-Day War, the miracles that occurred. And we have a brand new movie that's coming out on the genius of Israel. So we're very excited. So we want to make a lot of materials together. We're also promoting a study abroad program where students would take a semester and live in Israel. You've been there so many times. Yeah. You've taken so many people. And if students can go and spend a semester, they will completely have a different view. But what we've seen this spring on these campuses, out on the Village Green with all of the rioting, that's just an encapsulation of what they learned in the classroom. And so we decided, rather than cursing the darkness, we're going to light a candle. And the candle we want to light is knowledge, to bring knowledge of Israel and an understanding of the blessing that Israel is to every family on earth.
I'm so excited to hear that, because, you know, over the years, as I've taken tens of thousands of people to Israel, what I find is that they come back. I don't have to try to convince them or persuade them. They see with their own eyes. They get an understanding, and it's life-changing. So congratulations. Regent is such a beautiful campus.
It's a gorgeous campus. It's like Williamsburg. It's beautiful. We're 20 minutes from the ocean, some of the greatest surfing you've ever seen. You'd love that.
Probably not. I'm kind of a freshwater guy for the most part.
But I'll tell you one thing we're really excited about. We also, at the same time, started a PhD program. Because, again, just like the classrooms are in trouble, our U.S. State Department is in trouble because, with all due respect, the Biden administration has taken off the Team Israel jersey and they put on the Team Iran jersey. That's an unbelievable statement to make, but they have adopted the goals and principles of Hamas and of Iran. So because they are doing that, we're also trying to make a big headway with our PhD so that our students, hopefully, I've asked God for 100 credentialed PhDs that we can put in the U.S. State Department, that we can put in the CIA, the FBI, and the DOJ, and our military academies. So I want to get credentialed people in there, because the people who work there now are anti-Israel.
They are.
And you find very few universities where you can get a PhD in understanding Israel. And that's what we're going to do at Regent.
What a wonderful, wonderful idea. I'm thrilled. Please tell Gordon Robertson and all the people at Regent, salute.
Yes, thank you.
Before we go, do you ever miss Congress? I mean, you're watching some of the crazy stuff that's going on up there. I mean, it's just sometimes hard to take. You were there a good while, had a great career there, a real impact and a leader. But when you watch it now, do you ever say, oh, boy, would I love to be back?
No. It is completely, it's completely different than what I remember. But I will say there are 2 wonderful things that I loved about Congress. One, if you use it, it's a knowledge factory. You can't believe the knowledge that's there, the information, and I love that every day. The other thing is you have no idea who you're going to meet. I was a brand new freshman in Congress, and I was walking up by the House of Representatives in the hallway, and I turned a corner, and there was President George W. Bush arm in arm with the Dalai Lama. And I thought, no, you don't see that every day. George W. Bush and the Dalai Lama, what happens? And here comes nobody from nowhere walking down. And President Bush said, well, hi, Michelle, how are you doing? And I thought, you know my name? So anyway, it's amazing the people you get to meet. Even Mike Huckabee on occasion comes over there.
Yeah, I'm always starstruck about who I'm getting to meet. You know, it's like, wow, these are people I've seen on TV. Well, it's great having you here. And
thank you.
I want to keep up with what's going on with the efforts to teach Israel.
We will.
If you want to keep up with Michele Bachman and all of the endeavors at Regent University, go to her guest page that you'll find at Huckabee.tv. We will connect you. Keith Bilbrey, I know you're standing over there. You look like you got something ready to go, racing to tell us. So what is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines because legendary race car driver Al Unser Jr. shares his inspiring story next. And later, the magician with a heart for adoption, Dustin Tavella, wows the audience. You're watching Huckabee.
You know, music is a big part of our show. I mean, how do you do a show in Nashville and not have music as a part of it? But we don't just have any music. No, no, no. We have the best music on any television show in America, and it's all because we've got Trey Corley and the Music City Connection for our house band. Well, my next guest's family name is synonymous with greatness in motorsports. He himself is a two-time winner of the Indy 500 and 24 Hours of Daytona, a six-time winner of the Long Beach Grand Prix. But he spun out on alcohol and drugs until his faith saved him. He shares his story in an inspiring memoir called A Checkered Past. I want you to give a big, warm, great welcome to Al Unser Jr. You know, I was just wondering, how fast would you come out here? Would it be Al Unser Jr.?
Well, these days I kind of take it easy.
You know, what a storied career that you have had. And your dad, your uncle, Al Sr., Bobby Unser, we all know the legacy. Among the three of you, you guys won 9 Indy 500s. No one's ever done like anything close to that.
Well, we've been very, very fortunate at the Indy 500 and so on. So, yeah, no one's close to us. You know, the Andretti family, they have actually, Mario's the only one as a driver to win the 500, but I think Michael has won it as a car owner 6 times. So
but that ain't
they're
the
starting
same.
It's not the same. That's right.
No, it just isn't. But it's a wonderful thing to be the owner of the car, probably safer.
Definitely safer.
But to be behind the wheel, you know, the speeds at the Indy 500, 230 miles an hour.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know how you can see the track at that speed.
Well, you got to look way out in front of you. Because you're basically at Indy, you're covering a football field per second.
Per second.
When you're going that fast. And so, you know, everything is in anticipation. So if there's an accident in front of you, you try to anticipate which way the cars are going to go. And normally, if you just head straight for the wreck, by the time you get there, it'll be out of your way. So when you
at least you sure hope so, right?
You hope so, yeah.
Oh.
When you start avoiding things and start reacting to things, that's when you get in trouble.
You started racing go-karts when you were little. Your dad let you go out to a go-kart track.
9 years old.
I mean, you're the son of one of the greatest race drivers in history. And he says, okay, kid, let's try a go-kart to start with. So,
Yeah.
And then it just moved on up to the cars. And obviously you had a knack for it. And I don't think most people understand there's a certain science to how you drive on these tracks, anticipating where to make the turn, how fast to do it.
Sure.
It's not just getting there and gun it and go.
Not at all. Not at all. It's a science, and it can be learned.
Yeah.
You know, and so thank God I had a great teacher in my dad. Okay, and I started when I was 9 years old, and just worked my way up, and I drove sprint cars next, which is races on dirt, and then the Can-Am series, and so there was a ladder system for me to get to Indy, which I got there in 1983, was my rookie year. I was 21 years old and very young. And so Like I said, it just, and I kind of talk about it in my book. God blessed me with a talent to go out there and do it. And for me, you know, yes, it was hard work, but it kind of came natural to me. It was something that just, you know, I was fast right away.
Built into your DNA, without a doubt. The book is called A Checkered Past, and it's all about the fact that you didn't spiral out on the racetrack, but off the track, life got tough. Drugs, alcohol, was not the prettiest picture. And, you know, it was a part of your life that I don't guess I really even realized.
Right.
Because I just knew, you know, the race car driver, Al Unser Jr., but, you know, it's a miracle that you're even sitting here, because it would have been not that unexpected that you could have seen the red flag, and that would have been the end of you.
That could have been, yes. It's an absolute miracle that I'm here today with you guys, and so yeah. I mean, out on the racetrack, everything was good. My personal life is, you know, I kind of feel as I sit here today with the past going, that, you know, I didn't really go to church when I was younger. When I was a child growing up, we didn't go to church. And so now that I take my mom to church almost every week, you know, I wished I had church in my family. And so I'm trying to do that with my children, that church as a young adult, as a young person, I feel is critical to have a good, happy life.
Well, you know, I was reading through the book and all of the incredible challenges that you were facing with addiction, but near the end of the book, you talk about that it was a personal relationship with Jesus Christ that brought it all together, and that was transformational. And I love the story of your baptism. You said you came out of the water, and everything was different. You just knew that God had really redeemed you, and that was the chapter name, Redeemed. Yeah. And I thought, what a great reminder.
Right.
That no matter how far you get away, God's still looking for you.
Oh yeah, he was working in my life when I wasn't in his life. He was in my life, okay? And so, yeah, like I said, he blessed me with the talent and gave me all these gifts to go out and do what I did. And yeah, it was just one of those things that I didn't really have a relationship with God. I believed in God, and how it kind of worked out was in those days when I was driving the race car and I didn't have the relationship, my conversations with God went like this. I'm in the race car, I'm out on the racetrack. God, please let me win the race.
You know what my prayer would have been, Al? It would have been, dear God, please let me live through this. It's a great story. I hope people will get it. Race fans will enjoy the story that you probably didn't know. It's called A Checkered Past. It's a frank inside look at the world of auto racing and, of course, of Al Unser Jr.'s triumphs, his trials, but most importantly, his redemption. You can get the book or the audio book. You can also book him to speak at your event. If you want to know how to connect to him, go to Huckabee.tv. Speaking of speed, Keith Bilbrey, he's fast, and he's revving his engines so he can tell us what's coming up next. Take it away, Keith.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Master Illusions with magician Dustin Tavella is up next. Then stick around for a great musical performance by Woodbox Heroes. Huckabee.tv and get your very own made in the USA Huckabee mugs, t-shirts, and more.
And welcome back. Dustin Tavella is both a musician and a master illusionist. He's only the third magician ever to win America's Got Talent. He performs his show, Now I See, at the Reza Live Theater in Branson. He's also the adoptive father of 2 boys and a passionate advocate for adoption. We'll talk more about that later, but right now, prepare to be amazed by Dustin Tavella.
Thank you guys so much. You guys having fun so far? Amazing. Thank you guys so much for having me, Governor. Thank you for having me. So like he said, we just launched a brand new show called Now I See in Branson, Missouri. And hope is at the center of the entire show. I believe that hope is at the center of everything that we get to do as humans. No matter how messy life seems or chaotic or random life can seem, I believe that when we're willing to look for hope, we will find hope. And so I want to try something. Governor, can you join me over here? Do you have your phone? Do you have your phone on you?
I will.
Amazing.
Just
Can you
don't
give it up for the
make
governor?
Don't make me disappear.
I promise I won't.
All right.
Can you get your phone out?
Sure.
You can just unlock it.
There we go.
Yep, and it's fine. I know your passcode anyway, so.
Oh, I bet you do.
If you just go to your web browser.
There we go.
Yep.
Web browser
Open it up.
right here.
Perfect.
There we go.
And then I'm gonna do something here. So I was actually, you guys know about this guy? He's done so many things. If we go to Wikipedia.
Oh, a very unreliable resource, but
Look, if you look this guy up on Wikipedia, you will see he's done so many amazing things. As a lot of you guys know, playing bass, he was a pastor, all these things. So let's actually look you up.
Okay.
Real quick.
only the good stuff that I wrote is reliable. So okay.
Right here, if you look on Wikipedia, there are all kinds of things about you.
Yeah.
The thing about Wikipedia is it can be somewhat of a rabbit hole because every time you go to an article, you find another article you can click on.
Yeah.
So this is what we're gonna do right now. For an example, if you could just click another article within this. We have Huckabee, we have Fox News Channel, TBN, you can click anything.
Let's do the talk show Huckabee, that's
cool.
There we
Amazing.
go.
Now, look, as we go through here, there are more things we can select, more articles. And Trey, can you come help us for a minute? I'm gonna have Governor make some decisions right now. And you're gonna just kind of write down whatever words, whatever article he chooses.
Okay.
Now you can go through, choose any of these words. You can scroll down any of the articles that you see on here.
Okay.
You can clip any
Anything.
article that you want, yeah.
Okay, psychology.
Psychology, cool. Can you, psychology. P-S-Y-C-H-O-L-O-G-Y. Just in case, Trey, no offense.
I was homeschooled.
Then you should be smarter than the rest of us.
P-S-Y-C-H-O-L-O-G-Y.
Yep, there you go.
Cool. And then
Right.
let's go through, select another article, anyone that you want.
What about
small words?
radio?
Radio.
Oh,
cool.
yeah, I can do
Got
that
one?
I got you.
R-A-D-I-O. Cool.
Can you spell that R-A-Y-D-I?
Let's do another one.
Okay.
We're gonna do two more. So you scroll through any word that you want.
Monopoly.
Monopoly. M-O-N-O-P-O-L-Y. Amazing. And let's just do one more.
Okay. Let's do bacteria.
Bacteria. This is the rabbit hole of Wikipedia,
Why
right? You guys
not?
scroll through, you find the most random words that exist. This seems random, yeah?
Bacteria.
I can't spell bacteria. People,
B-A-C-
come on, I'm a musician.
B-A-C-T-E-R-I-A. Next time I'll do a more simple magic trick.
He can only write musical notes.
Give it up
Okay.
for Trey.
Yay, Trey.
I feel like we should just stop now and let Trey
Okay.
be the star of
There
the
you
Slow
go.
Spelling List. Next thing I want you to do, last random thing that we're gonna do, I want you to imagine that you're holding a die in your hand, okay? So
Okay.
dice, just one of them, and I want you to roll it onto the floor. I'm not gonna look. Some of you guys that went over, it's invisible, guys.
There
I
it goes.
don't have to cover
All right,
my eyes.
it's
Anyway,
down there.
cool. Now I want you to see the number on top. You got a number? The
Got a
number that you
number.
rolled?
Yep.
Amazing. I have some papers here on this table, numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Whatever number you rolled, can you grab that paper?
Yes.
Number 5, you rolled a 5. Before we look at this, we're gonna keep this just like this. Look, sometimes the decisions that we make say something about us.
Okay.
You chose number 5, so that one's for you, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 are for me. Now, if we look at these, this one says, I am Dustin Tavella, which I would say that does say something about me. 3 says, I am Dustin Tavella. 2 says, I am Dustin Tavella. 4 says, I'm Dustin Tavella. And 6 says, I'm Dustin Tavella.
Got a stutter there, don't you?
Can we look at what yours says? Can you read out loud what
Sure.
yours says?
It says, I am standing next to Dustin Tavella. There we go.
Amazing.
How about that?
Now look, sometimes when we're willing to discover things, sometimes it can be simple. The decisions we make can be simple,
Yeah.
or they can be a little bit deeper. I believe that when we have the faith to take the steps that God calls us to, we will continue to find hope. I told you that hope exists in the middle of everything we do, and if we're willing to look for it, we will find it. You chose any of these words on Wikipedia. You can go through and find the most random things on Wikipedia as you go article after article. You could have chose any word, yeah? That was your decision. And then you chose number 5.
Yes.
You rolled a 5. If we look at, like, let's say the 5th letter in Monopoly. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have a P.
Okay.
The fifth letter, number 5. You chose 5. The fifth letter in radio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have an O.
Yes.
We actually look at the fifth letter in psychology. We have an H, and down here is an E. H-O-P-E. Every single word that you chose and the number that you picked.
That's crazy.
Hope is at the center of everything that we do.
That is amazing.
Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. Wow. Hey, if you want to book Dustin Tavella and get tickets to his fantastic show, Now I See, at the Raise It Live Theater in Branson, or if you want to sponsor a child through Compassion International, if you visit Huckabee.tv, we will get the connection.
That's our show for tonight, folks. Go to Huckabee.tv for more information on all of tonight's guests and to see an online exclusive performance of Cannonball by Woodbox Heroes. Join Huckabee next week for Morgan Ortegas, Chef Andre Rush, comedian Scott Wood, and more. Thanks for watching Huckabee.